The reviews for The Brothers' Size have been absolutely spectacular. The Fort Worth Star-Telegram said that it is the must-see show of the season. Can each of you, in no particular order, speak to the gratitude that you must be feeling as actors?
The most beautiful thing about this is, as artists, you're always trying to put out and do the most artistically valid thing you can, and that's risky.
Yeah.
But just given what it was and the artistic validity that it represented was great, and then to see that pay off, to see that become what it's becoming is just, that's great.
Patrons have really been moved by this production. Some even leaving the theater with tears in their eyes, and I'm going to be the first one to admit that third seat up there, just crying like a black woman in Baptist church. I mean, it was just that emotional for me. So I can completely relate with what they took from it. Can you share with us the feelings that you experienced as actors when your performance touches a theater patron in that manner?
Because it's just so rewarding. To me, that's what this theater is about. That's what our responsibility is to the stories that we tell, to impart that same emotion onto the audience so they can also experience those stories as well and embody them.
I mean, it feels so good to see that someone has got a chance to experience that same thing, And sometimes it's hard, especially with this show. Like you can hear it when the show's going on. People are like shifting in their seats, and they're like, "Oh, like this part is really uncomfortable." But that's all still part of the experience. You're trying to communicate to them. And it's like, man, this is a really messed up part of the show, but it's totally real.
If asked, what would each of you say would be the most important reason to get tickets to come out and see this show? What?
The most important thing that they would take from the show if they would be able to come and see it, theater at its highest level of execution. I just really feel like we have an incredible cast. We've had incredible direction. The artistic way that the story has been told, we really execute those aspects of theater. I'll quote one of the critics and say flawlessly. Since I didn't say it myself, I didn't say it. And it's really, if you want to have a theater experience and understand what that's all about, then come and see this show, because it has laughter throughout. It's levity to the play, but then also we're talking about people leaving with tears in their eyes. So we have, heavy moments and all of the symbolism and things that get explained to people in this play. And I just think that, the theme of love and forgiveness and family and second chances and all of those things, you really receive them if you come see this production. So if you want to see theater at its finest, at what it's intended to be, at what the intention of theater is, then come and see The Brothers' Size.
It's very different, and I think that on itself is enough to get people to get out and see some non-traditional work. The music, the themes in it, the connections it has to African culture, the way that we execute it. It's really different, and you get a chance to open your mind to a completely different world for 75 minutes, So I think that on itself would just get people out, come see something different, come see something that'll have you think,
And 75 minutes without an intermission. So if a show is able to capture your attention to where you're like this the entire time, which doesn't happen to me because I have ADHD. So, if you're able to capture me for 75 minutes without me getting bored, you've done your job. So, yeah, good point. Mr. Garrett.
Well, since I've been Artistic Director of Jubilee Theatre, one of the things I've strived for is to present work that keeps us a part of the national conversation of African American theater. This piece is being produced all over the country, and we should be aware in our community of what's going on around the country. We should be participating in that national conversation. It's being done in Chicago, it's being done in California, it's being done in New York, it's being done in DC, it's being done in Atlanta. Terrell's work is being done all over the country. And we're a part of the time that this genius work is happening.
Yes.
and we should be participating in that time with this work. So years from now, we can say, we saw that when that was happening. We were a part of the momentum of that artist's work and that type of work at the time. Because right now it's groundbreaking, you know, and we're on the cusp of it, and we should be able to be a part of that conversation.
And I think he's aiding in a renaissance of black theater and helping us to redefine exactly what that is. So,
Yeah.
Mr. McCraney's work, he's incredible.
The artistic, all of the artistic elements that are part of this work, the traditional elements and the very, very new kind of elements that are part of this work, that this work is not the typical, in any style of art, this is not the low-hanging fruit kind of piece.
Yeah.
This is that stuff that's up there, and I do think that you know, in the world of art and in the world of art patrons, that we need and we need the support. We need patrons who are willing to take a chance on us as artists. We need a community that will support when we're doing that groundbreaking, risk-taking, way out there stuff. You know, sometimes we need a net. You know, basically we need a net so that we can, you know, because that's the only way you're gonna learn how to fly. This piece is one of those pieces, but I just think that it's also an opportunity for this artistic community to realize that art is not McDonald's.
Thank you.
It is not, you know, Luby's Buffet. There's nothing wrong with that when you want that. But, you know, like, let the theater, especially the 34 years of tradition here, okay? And so, you know, there's enough there for everybody, but when it's this kind of groundbreaking stuff, and it's part of the national, you know, conversation, and it's artistically on such a high level, support that just so that it will always be there. It encourages all of us to keep on doing that.
You know, you will never see another show like this, and you can honestly say that because every night is different. You know, you might come one night like, oh, I didn't catch that, and oh, this, you know, oh, I thought he was angry that time, and you know, everything changes every night. And so, with that unique nature, I think is more than enough to come and see this show.
Mr. Garrett, you have raised the bar so high, and we're going to keep you up there, because if not, we're going to have that pitchfork up under you, up there, because you really lifted the bar on this one.
Thank you.
To, you know, for people to say this is the one to beat for this year and years to come, yeah, it's a pretty high bar, but we're going to keep you up there.